All right, happy Sunday, everybody. We've got some NFL football. I'm excited, man. I like these games today. I like the props. We're going to go through each game, then I'll give you my best bets. But before we do that, make sure you subscribe to the channel. It's free. We're pushing 600 subs. Appreciate the support. Give the video a thumbs up, comment for the algorithm. All right, enough with that. Let's get into this slate. So first game on the card, Patriots and the Dolphins. Patriots traveling to Miami. Line on this is -7. I mean, we've seen the Patriots definitely look better. Dolphins are still kind of getting into their groove with Tua. No way I can back the Patriots here in an away game. Good weather. -7. I think Tua lets it fly today. Miami -7 for sure. Next game is going to be Lions and the Colts. Weird line. Lions have been decimating teams, absolutely decimating them. I'm not a huge Anthony Richardson fan yet. I'm not sold. I got to see it. Yeah, he had one good game. Now this Lions team's very susceptible to pretty much everything. Defensively, they're not phenomenal. I'd say they're decent, but they are susceptible. But Lions -7.5 all day. This is a beautiful line. So I think they win by at least 10. All right, Tampa Bay and the Giants. Danny Dimes, no longer a Giant. Sad day. Dolphin tears everywhere. All right, that means Tommy DeVito is going to be the QB. Interesting because he was QB3. I thought Locke would be the QB. So there's some issues there. Tampa Bay -6 in this spot. All day, I don't think Tommy DeVito is the spark that the Giants need. I think, the -6 is a good line here. Good, solid line. All right, Chiefs and the Panthers. I mean, I think we know how this one's going to go. Chiefs -10.5. I mean, it's a steep line, but I don't think Bryce Young has a ton of success today. They should be able to hem up Chuba Hubbard to some degree, which is going to force Bryce Young to have to pass the ball, which is never a good thing. So Chiefs -10.5 in this spot. One play I didn't take that I really thought about was Kareem Hunt over rush attempts. I think it's 19.5. Little steep. I mean, I do like it. Maybe it makes the card, but it didn't this time. I also looked at Carson Steele over his rushing yards, which kind of fluctuates between 9.5, 10.5. I do like that. I think if they start to route him, he will get a decent amount of playing time here, which would also impact the Kareem Hunt rushing attempt. So that's why I'm a little nervous about that. All right, Titans and the Texans. I think this is a really good line. I almost want to go Tennessee +7.5, which is kind of weird. I think Houston's been rolling, and they've looked pretty good. You got Nico Collins back. Mixon's been on a tear. That said, I mean, Tennessee still has weapons. They still have really good wide receivers. You got Pollard. You got Spears. I mean, they have the team. Defensively, they're pretty good. I think they might be able to force some turnovers in this one and keep it somewhat tight. It's a fade for me, but if I had to pick, I mean, I'm leaning Tennessee +7.5. In terms of props, you can look at Nico's receiving yards over. Joe Mixon touchdowns, always a good bet. In terms of picking winner here, it feels weird, and I would lean towards Tennessee +7.5, actually. All right, Cowboys and Commanders. Cooper Rush, what a legend. Absolute legend. I want to see Jaden Daniels really pick it up this week. Last couple weeks, he just hasn't looked great. I know he's got the rib injury. I think Brian Robinson has a pretty good day. I think Austin Eckler has a really nice day. Cowboys are very susceptible to the run. I wouldn't be surprised like a Jaden Daniels anytime touchdowns. I think definitely on the card. 10.5. It's a perfect line. It's definitely one that I'm playing down. I did put out a little 3-leg alt line to the Discord already today. So make sure you guys check out the Discord. Link is down below. Plays were already released to the Discord a little while ago. I'd have to go Washington -10.5 or fade. I just think it's a decent amount. And Jaden Daniels hasn't looked super sharp since his ribs got hurt. All right, Vikings and the Bears. Should be a good game. I actually want to go Chicago +3.5. I just don't have a ton of faith in Caleb Williams. He has not been fantastic. I don't think DeAndre Swift has a huge day. It's a tough line, man. But playing in Chicago, tough place to play. Minnesota's looked a little more human every week, I think. So to me, this is Chicago +3.5. All right, Broncos and the Raiders. Denver minus 5.5. Denver is really rolling. Gardner Minshew, he ain't that guy. He is definitely not that guy. They've got rushing issues. You got Amir Abdullah, Zamir White. Neither of them can really run the ball, so they're very one-handed on the pass. Denver's defense is just very stout. I like the way Bo Nix is rolling. I think he has a pretty decent day today. That said, I mean, we've seen the Raiders keep pretty much every game tight. The Bengals kind of got away from them and they pulled back in. The Chiefs game was really tight. So this defense is able to keep them in games. But I just think this probably should be 7.5, 6.5. So Denver minus 5.5 here. San Francisco and Green Bay should be an interesting game. There is no Brock Purdy. That is definitely going to impact this game. Green Bay minus 5.5. I think you got to go with that. I know San Francisco still has the weapons. They have Kittle. You got Deebo Samuel. You got Christian McCaffrey, but I think it's Brandon Allen behind center. And I just want to see how that rolls. And 49ers have struggled with Purdy. So now you're downgrading your QB. You're playing on the road in Lambeau. It's just not a good scenario for them. So Green Bay minus 5.5. Cardinals and the Seahawks. This one should be a good game. I would definitely lean Arizona plus 1.5. I think Kyler Murray has been absolutely electric. James Conner's had a pretty good resurgent year. Marvin Harrison's been doing what he should do. Obviously, at the tight end position, they're solid. So, to me, this is Arizona plus 1.5. Geno's been pretty good. I mean, Jackson Smith and Jigba, OHIO, baby, has been playing really well. Kenneth Walker's just kind of been okay. One of the props I did really look at that I liked is Zach Charbonnet over his receiving yards. He's been hitting that at a really high clip. It didn't make the card, but it'll probably be in one of my slips today for sure. All right, Eagles and the Rams. Eagles minus 2.5. Feels really light in Los Angeles. I know the Rams have been better. Obviously, we know they got Cooper Kupp and Puka Nacua has been playing fantastic, but this Eagles defense is really good. It's highly likely Stafford throws at least one pick, if not two. I could definitely see a defensive touchdown from the Eagles today. Obviously, you got Hurts, Saquon, A.J. Brown, you got Smith. I mean, they've got so many weapons here. So Philly minus 2.5 in this one. Baltimore and the Chargers on Monday night, we will talk about in a separate video. So what are the plays for today? All right, let's talk a little bit about these plays and then get you on your way. First one's going to be Josh Downs over 4.5 receptions. He's over this in 6 of the last 10, but it's Detroit. They do give up a lot of receiving yards and a lot of receptions to wide receivers. So we are getting good value here. This line's been 5.5. So we're kind of getting a 1 point buy down in my opinion. So just a good value play. Lions minus 7.5. I mean, they're just absolutely rolling. I'm more than willing to back them. And if it loses, so be it. Austin Eckler over 47.5 rushing plus receiving yards. He's over this in 9 of his last 10 games. And he's playing a Dallas team who is 26th in rushing yards allowed to the running back position and 27th in receiving yards allowed to the running back position. So really good spot for Eckler here to have a good day. Tommy DeVito over 27.5 passing attempts. I mean, he's playing Tampa Bay. We know Baker Mayfield's going to sling it. He's been doing surprisingly well, given that he's lost his 2 best weapons. But we've seen Bucky Irving. We've seen White, kind of resurge a little bit. So I think they put some points on the board. It's going to force DeVito to have to throw the ball. The only question is, could he get benched? That's my only concern with this play is, will he get benched? George Kittle over 37.5 receiving yards. He's over this in 8 straight games. No Brock Purdy, but I still like this. Green Bay is 22nd in yards allowed to the tight end position. I do believe that they're going to get down early. They're going to have to throw the ball. Kittle's going to be a nice, big, safe target for Brandon Allen to throw to. TJ Hawkinson over 36.5 receiving yards. Chicago's defense is very good. Where they are vulnerable is at the tight end position. They are 21st in yards allowed to the tight end position, about 52 yards a game. So I like Hawkinson over his receiving yards and his receptions. I believe that line is 3.5. So I do like him to clear that. You just get better odds with the receiving yards. Jonathan Taylor over 16.5 rush attempts. Now, this one's a little scary because you're playing Detroit, who's going to throw up a lot of points. That said, Colts are not going to abandon their identity, which is more towards the run. He's over this in 7 of the last 10 games. If you look at when they were playing Buffalo, he rushed 21 times. So I can see a very similar situation today. So I like the over 16.5 rush attempts. Last play on the card today, Justin Jefferson over 5.5 receptions. He's over this in 7 of his last 8 games. He's playing Chicago. They do a very good job against wide receivers, but it's Justin Jefferson. I will take my chances. Again, we're getting a kind of a 1 point buy down here. This is usually 6.5. So you give me 5.5 for the best wide receiver in football, I'm in, especially at minus 120. Let's see. A couple other plays I looked at was the Zach Charbonnet over receiving yards, Amir Abdullah for the Raiders under 10.5 rushing attempts. It's minus 135 on DK. He has not hit that line this year. So something to look at. Denver, very good at stopping the run. Anytime TDs, I will put a list in the Discord. I've got a decent amount here that I like for anytime TDs. So I'll throw that in the Discord. Guys, if you haven't yet, subscribe to the channel. I'll say it again. Join the Discord. It's absolutely free. We hit a nice little plus 226 parlay in there yesterday. Did decent in college football. Crushed the NBA, which I'll have another NBA video coming out later today. Appreciate you guys. Turn notifications on. I'll catch you in the next video.